Hey, in this video I will give you a step-by-step formula so that you can recover at least 1 free hour of your time every day. And if you are like me, you think that time is very important, and I really believe that time is your most valuable asset. But if you look around, most of the people really take their time very lightly, and I decided to take my time quite seriously a good time ago, and I tried to think of my life, my schedule, like I want to be the designer of my life. So I'm very careful of what do I do during my day-to-day life, and I'm quite jealous about this. So, and if you are into self-improvement, you know that there are so many cool things to do. I mean, there are books to read, there are courses to take, principles to apply. But if you have a busy schedule, you don't have any time for that. And during these days, I've been on holidays to start this project. And I realized that if you have a simple lifestyle, I mean, my lifestyle those days has been literally going to the gym, meditate, read and write, walks, eat, sleep. That's it. I mean, it's been like monk mode, that's been trendy, but monk mode 24/7 essentially. And I really enjoy this lifestyle. I mean, personally, I don't like to have too much stuff in my day-to-day life. And the less I have, the less things I have to do, the better I can focus on them. And I realized that my mind is so much clearer when I have less things to do. And maybe you experienced this in the past. Maybe you went to a retreat or you just took holidays. And yeah, most of the people, they try to pack a lot of shit during their holidays, or they travel and they go with everybody when everybody's there. I mean, I always found a little bit silly that people on the holidays go where everybody's there. Rather than stay where you are. I mean, less people is easier, I don't know, it's more relaxing, but yeah, maybe I'm not like everybody else. And maybe you also can relate to that. And so in this video I will give you a step-by-step formula that I call it track, assess, and reduce. And this framework will, I mean, if you apply this, I promise you will get at least 1 free hour every day. And I will recommend you, if you want to follow my advice, that don't try to add new stuff after this process, because you may get 1-2 hours every day, but I would recommend you to not add more stuff, not try to do more things. Rather, just sleep more. I mean, if you are like most of us, you sleep less than 7 hours or so, you're sleep deprived. And literally, sleeping is the best self-improvement hack you can do. Really, trust me. So, before going into the step-by-step formula, I will do it at the end of the video. Let me explain you a little bit what's the idea behind this. And I like to call this lifestyle minimalism. And probably you heard the concept minimalism before. And the idea, well, if you haven't, let me summarize in a couple of minutes. The idea of minimalism is that you have few physical possessions, like only the physical possessions that are relevant to you. It's not necessarily about having the minimum, but just have the essential. And that's exactly the principle we want to apply to our schedule. We want to remove all the garbage that you may be doing on a day-to-day basis. Because the thing is that the pace of our life is such that we're not even aware of what we're doing, literally. I mean, this exercise is so simple. It's will be just about recording everything that you do in your life, and you may not even realize what you're doing. Because again, if I ask you what do you do on a day-to-day basis, could you be able to tell me exactly? Maybe you can, but maybe you can't. So I want you to become aware of how you spend your time. And that's the first part of the exercise that we'll get into details. But the main point of this lifetime minimalism is that you design your life and your schedule. And of course, that I know that you may have responsibilities. You may have to go to work or study at university or school, and that's fine. I mean, that's our activities that you have to do. But what about your free time? And let's say that you are like most of us, and you work for around 8 hours every day, or spend at university 8 hours. And if you, well, let's say you sleep 8 hours, probably you don't, but let's assume that you sleep 8 hours. And then there are 8 hours that, of course, that there is commuting and grocery shopping, cooking, whatever. So it's not like you have 8 free hours, but at least you should have 1 or 2 hours where you are free and you can do whatever you want. Of course, you can watch movies or read a book, go for a walk, or going to the gym, whatever. So the idea is that whenever you do it with intention, and you just don't waste your time mindlessly. Because again, if you don't think time is your most important asset, I will ask you a question. So imagine that I offer you $1 billion, but you will have to die tomorrow. Will you take this offer or not? I'm pretty sure you wouldn't. It would be silly, no? And again, this is a pretty extreme example, but what I want to say is that time really is very important, and time moves very fast. I'm personally almost 30, and this year has been quite a lot about thinking about what the hell I'm going to do in the next 10 years. And if you are in your 20s or you're just starting your 20s, I mean, the next 10 years can change your life. So literally, I just want to make you aware that the time is important if you haven't realized that. And I know that sounds pretty cliche, but really time is something that never goes back. So just be mindful. Okay, so let's stop with talk and let's go to the methods. So as I mentioned at the beginning, the framework consists on 3 main steps, and that's why I call it track, assess, and reduce and repeat, because it's a sort of cycle. So how do we do this? Okay, so the first step is track, and maybe you are aware with tracking your macros. For example, if you are on a diet or something like that. So here the idea is exactly the same, but now you will track your activities. So every day you may write in your cell phone or your computer, you will have a list of all the activities that you do each day. So you may just write a long list with all the activities that may repeat, or you write like a sort of calendar, like Monday and your list, then Tuesday and your list, and so on. So you will track at least for 1 full week, including weekends, because chances are that your weekends are where the most free time you have, and probably you're wasting it. But at this stage, don't judge yourself. Nobody will share, and I mean, nobody will see what you do, so don't be ashamed. Just be brutally honest. I mean, this part is where you have to be very honest, and just add whatever you do during your day-to-day life, even things that you may not be very proud of. So during the first week, and I think that this process should be done at least 1 month, ideally 1 to 2 months, and well, even longer maybe during the rest of your life. But let's start with 1 or 2 months and see if your life gets better or you have more free time. So you track for at least 1 week, 1 to 2 weeks, with a full weekend. You track for every day. You add all the activities. So I mentioned it at the beginning what my daily schedule looks like. I didn't add record videos, but also I should add it, but I don't record every day. But anyways, so maybe a typical work day for you may be something like, okay, I wake up, then I shower, have coffee, or breakfast, whatever, and then commute to work. And during commuting, you may listen to an audiobook or reading a book or playing with your cell phone or looking Instagram or whatever, or talking with your friends. Then during work or study, you may add if the activities you do during work, I don't know, if you have a meeting with colleagues or going for lunch with them, or any activity that you may find relevant. I mean, the more the better here. And if you want, but it's not necessary, is that you could include how much time that each activity takes. And at the beginning, it's better to just keep it simple, but you may add this time later to see what takes the most time. But that's optional at this stage. So that's and then work, and then you commute back from work. You may pick up your kids if you have kids, or going grocery shopping, then cooking and eating, and then you may scroll through social media and see what's going on with your friends, and then maybe watching a movie or reading a book, and then sleeping. So for each day you write all the activities that you do in a normal day. And for the weekends also you will have probably a different schedule. So that's the first part of the exercise, the tracking. The part number 2 is called assess. I'm not sure what's the correct word, but you know what I mean. So now, once you have a full week of activities, and again, you want to track for at least 1 month until it becomes second nature and you know what you do every day, which may take you a couple of months, 1 or 2 months, until it gets a habit. So now that you have all this valuable information, you will add a number for each activity, which can be a quite long list if you accumulate 1 week, but it may take you 10 minutes to do that. So for each activity, you will put a number which can be 1, 2, or 3. So what those numbers mean? Number 1 will be the high priority activities, and those are the activities you cannot drop. Okay, so for most of us, I guess sleeping is a high priority activity. You cannot skip sleeping. I mean, you may skip 1 day, but it's not healthy for you, so don't skip sleeping. And or working, studying, I mean, going to the university, all the activities that you cannot miss, unless it's a life or death situation, or if you are sick, but you go to work every day. So those are the high priority activities, and you put a number 1 next to them. The number 2 are the medium priority activities. So those are the activities, and let me clear here, number 1 to 3 is not absolute. I mean, there is no list of medium priority activities or high priority activities. Just to give you a crazy example, so if you are like a movie film critic, watching movies is part of your job, so that will be number 1 probably. But if you are like me, that only watches movies for enjoyment, then will be a low priority. Okay, so just to be clear, this is something that is part of the exercise to determine what's important for you. Okay, so number 2 are medium priority activities, and those are the activities that are important, that you don't want to remove them, but if there is an emergency, you may skip them. So here, example that I like to mention is showering. And here, hopefully you shower every day. Don't be dirty. But let's say that the alarm clock is off and you wake up and you have a meeting and you have to run for work. So probably you can skip showering for 1 day and shower at evening, for example. So medium priorities are the activities that, if you need to, you may skip them. Maybe going to the gym, for example, is a medium priority that you really, if you take your health seriously, you will want to go to the gym regularly. But if you are if you have to skip it, okay, you have to, but it's not life and death. Okay, like the first one. So those are the medium priorities with number 2. And finally, we have the rest, the low priority activities, which we will put a number 3. So those are all the activities that you do. I mean, there are nice activities, maybe probably your hobbies, the activities you do on your dead times where you are bored, for example. And yeah, essentially it's the rest. So probably playing video games, for example. Let's say that you play video games, so that could be an activity in low priority. Watching movies or reading are all these activities that are nice, but it's not life and death. I mean, you could remove them from forever and everything will be fine. But yeah, just let me clear that 1 to 3 are, at least 2 and 3 are not fixed categories. So the second step is about just numbering each activity, and if you are in doubt, just put whatever you think is better. Just don't overthink about this. So at this stage so far we haven't removed anything, and I think that that's also important part of the process, that you don't want to think, oh, that's not good, I mean, you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that. No, just record everything. And again, if you have done this for dieting, the idea is that you don't start dieting before at this stage. You just record and are brutally honest and add everything that comes to your mind that you do. And in the next step is the step assess. You put a number 1 through 3 depending on the priority. So the next step, and that's where the fun starts, is the reduce. And for reducing, we will pick one activity ideally from the low priority activities, because I mean those are the activities that, okay, they're fine but they're not necessary. So you will pick one activity from the low priority activities, the number 3, and you will not do it for 1 week. Okay, so at the start I would start pretty easy. Just try to find something that may take you 10 minutes or 15 minutes daily. So let's say, and here you can also be a little bit more specific. For example, let's say that instead of saying scrolling social media or looking social media, you may add a subcategory of social media in the evening. So let's say that you check your social media apps morning, afternoon and evening. So you may choose one of them and remove it from your schedule. So the idea is that you pick only one activity, just to start simple, and remove it for the next week. So again, we track for 1 full week. At the end of this week, we put the numbers to each activity, and we will pick one that you will remove, ideally for the duration of this experiment, for 1 or 2 months. And yeah, that's it essentially. So you remove it, and then the next week you continue doing the tracking, and at the end of the second week you again will do the assessment process again, because what you may realize is that some activities that you consider number 2 become number 3, or vice versa. I mean, usually the activities in 1 will be more or less fixed, because something that has high priority is unlikely that it will change. But medium and low, you may not be completely clear at the beginning, but after a while you may realize, you know what, this I thought that was medium, but it's not that important. And that's the crucial part of the exercise, that you become aware of what is really important for you. Because again, as I was talking at the beginning, sometimes we just live life in autopilot, and yeah, it's easy to go through it, through life. But so this exercise in a sense like a stop thing, like stop and think, what are you doing? Okay, so let me recapitulate. So the framework consists on 3 parts: track, where you list all your activities; assess, where you put a number 1 to 3; remove, you remove 1 activity per week, and then you repeat. So the next week you continue tracking. At the end of the second week you assess and you pick a different activity to remove. And you will do this process for ideally at least 1 month. I would recommend between 1 and 2 months. And because after the end of 2 months, you will have removed around 8 activities. I mean, 2 months are around 8 weeks. So you will have removed 8 activities from your schedule. And that can be quite a lot. I mean, it can be at least 1 hour of your day, if depending on what activities are you choosing. So that's it, the protocol. You repeat this for at least 1 month, and well, until you get at least 1 free hour, which may take you less. And that's it. That's the process. So let me add some caveats here. So I was assuming that the activities you are removing are around 10 to 15 minutes each. But let's say that you decide, you know what, I will try not playing video games for the duration of the experiment. And let's say that you play 1 hour a day or 7 hours a week. So if you removed video games already, it's 1 hour. So congratulations, you escaped the video game addiction. So if you remove one activity that takes you a lot of time already, then I would focus on keep this activity out of your schedule and not continue removing activities. Maybe you can remove one after 1 month or something like that. So as I was mentioning, the objective of this exercise is to be able to remove at least 1 hour, to get 1 extra hour per day. So if you choose an activity that already takes you 1 hour, then yeah, you won essentially. You just need to keep track, and yeah, maybe you can remove more activities if you are motivated. On the other hand, if you remove activities that take 10 to 15 minutes, then I would recommend that you remove one of them every week. But again, there is some flexibility. And in the middle, yeah, I mean, let's say that you remove one activity that takes you half an hour, then you may pick one after 2 weeks, an extra activity to remove. Okay, so that's the process, very simple. Again, track, assess, reduce, and repeat. So, and just let me give you a little bit a piece of advice. So at this stage, I wouldn't add new activities. I will try to just get some more free time. And if, I mean, you were me, I would just sleep more, because chances are you are sleep deprived. So if you get 1 extra hour, you can sleep for 1 more hour, which can be quite good for your health. So actually, sleeping more is one of the best self-improvement hacks. So really, for the, I mean, if you want to commit to this experiment, I would recommend you to not add new activities, which I know that may be tempting, because yeah, we are addicted to activities. We are addicted to doing. We are afraid of having free time. So, okay, instead of doing nothing, just sleep more. Because as I was mentioning at the beginning, for example, let's say you want to do more meditation, because you know that yeah, meditation is good and everybody says the same. But the thing is that if your mind is so full of garbage, of activities and preoccupations, meditation won't help you, because you will be so busy in your mind that you won't be able to concentrate. So really, the idea of this exercise is just to free some time so that your mind gets more clear, and then even meditation may not be that useful at this stage. Again, I'm not saying that meditation is bad. I mean, it's very good, but I would just recommend of doing one thing at a time, because I mean, at least in my experience, when I try to do too many things at once, it ends up backfiring you, and you may not commit to anything. So if you commit to the experiment, just try to reduce and not to add new things. And I really think that this will help you to improve your quality of life quite significantly, if you can get some more free time to just be you know. We live in this age where there are so many cool things to do. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, there are so many possibilities, and that's great in a sense. But it's very easy to get overwhelmed and stressed. And for me, living a simple lifestyle is one of my main objectives in life, because the more simple your lifestyle is, yeah, the more time you have to focus on what really matters. I mean, this exercise of minimalistic lifestyle is really about doing what you really want. You may realize that there are activities that you really don't enjoy that much, and that's pretty powerful, I think, if you can free some time just to sleep more, to relax more, and focus on what really matters. Because yeah, life is too short to waste your time in stupid shit, you know. So yeah, that's it. I mean, I've been talking for more than 25 minutes, and that's the first video of this channel. So yeah, this will get better over time. I mean, talking in front of camera is not easy, so as you may maybe you try, and it's quite challenging, but I take in also this as a project to just talk better in front of the camera and be able to communicate the message better. So I hope that you stick to this. So yeah, just like and subscribe, and I also writing a newsletter. This video is based on the newsletter with the same title. So if you subscribe to the newsletter, you will get the written version of this video, even though I didn't look at the newsletter, just to, you know, talk more freely. But the newsletter has the written information, the steps in case you miss something, and the newsletter is the backbone of this channel. So you will get principles that I found that have helped in my self-development journey, and maybe they will be helpful for you. But in order to apply those principles that we'll be discussing in future videos, you need to have free time. That's why I decided to start this channel with this video about doing less, because again, there is so much cool things to do, but you need to focus first. And that's what the channel will be about key principles to improve your life and have a more fulfilling life. So I hope that you enjoy, and I will see you in future videos. See you soon.